The Buddha grew up in a very lavish, wealthy, and powerful family. He grew up in a palace. He was having regular orgies, parties, whatever. And he went on his spiritual path. He cut off all his attachments to worldly possessions, and he lived a life as an ascetic, where he was living on the street, extreme weather conditions. He wouldn't eat for weeks. And so when he finally gained enlightenment, he went down to the river. He washed himself, and a small girl gave him some rice, and this was the healthiest thing he had eaten in a long time. And his followers at the time, they saw this, and they saw that the Buddha was cleaning himself, and he was almost living like a normal person. And he had to explain to them that there was a middle way. That not to obsess or become attached to material things, because all things eventually end. If more attachments you have, the more suffering you're going to have. But living your life in a way that you just reject the material world altogether, that just creates another layer of suffering. There is a middle way, a way to live called right action, right livelihood in the Noble Eightfold Path, where everything we do is to enhance our well-being, and we don't have to necessarily reject the material world, because that will bring us suffering. So often there's these two extremes. People obsess with materialism, and they get up to work and they obsess with it. They pay a lot of attention to the way they look and blah 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 blah, and that causes lots of stress and anxiety. But then there are people who live this extreme spiritual life where they reject everything, and because they reject everything, they don't have access to the best education and healthcare that is available, which is obviously beneficial to our spiritual path. So in the Buddha's time, the way he lived the middle way, we would now consider to be extreme in the 21st century, because he lived the life of a nomadic monk, and he was begging for his food. But back in his time, the world was full of trees and forests, and there was wild animals, there was fruit. You could easily go foraging for food. Nowadays, in 21st century, 90% of the trees have been cut down and destroyed, so it's a lot harder to go out into the jungle and, make a shelter, because we now have these concrete jungles and things have been destroyed. That's just the world we live in today. I personally gave up a job, my comfortable apartment, left my country, and I went off to follow the path of Buddha, and I tried to become a Buddhist monk. And for a long time, I lived in a tent, sleeping on the ground. I lived in ashrams, lived in construction sites. But at some point, when you're being this renegade hippie, you do need to do something to contribute to enhance the well-being of humanity. Because if we're going to live in the concrete jungle, we need to do something about it. We need to not just exist and take up space. We need to do something to contribute. And for some people, that solution is to become a monk or a priest, or but for other people, a doctor, a scientist, or a musician is another way that we can live what they call a right livelihood. Right livelihood in the Noble Eightfold Path is the way that we live enhances the well-being for ourselves and other people, and very specifically doesn't cause harm to other people, and doesn't involve taking things from people, doesn't involve lying, stealing, or being intoxicated. So that's not really that hard, living the middle way in that regards. I mean, sure, every now and again you can have a treat. But if you have treats every day, the treats become meaningless and get diabetes, become fat, become very ill. Treating yourself to something sweet after just doing some exercise, not every time you exercise, but you're now working with the body and giving the body extra energy when it needs to rebuild itself. So there is a way to treat yourself in a way that goes with the body and enhances your own well-being, as opposed to being a complete aesthetic that rejects everything. Moderation is the key. The middle way can also be applied to our concept of ourselves. One extreme is to say that we are that there is something that we are aware of, and that is us. It can be our body, our thoughts, our feelings, an object, a nation, some idea, an identity of some kind. Because that can't be true. If we're saying we are our heart space is our true selves, but we are aware and are feeling and are experiencing our heart, then we can't be our heart because we are the one who's having the experience. The other extreme is to reject everything in our consciousness and say we are not any object in our consciousness. We're completely the one that is aware of the object. Because it is true that we are the one who is aware of the object, but we're not completely nothingness. Nothingness is the essence of our true selves, but we do talk about ourselves, and when we go to the doctor, we do discuss ourselves as if we're a body. So we're not that, and we're also not that either. We are somewhere in between existing and non-existing. We exist in a sense, but we don't exist as a permanent, fixed object in the universe that will last forever. We are a ever-changing thing. So in a relative sense, we can say, this is what I think, this is what I feel, I did this is my body, these are my possessions. But these are all a relative way of speaking, and as long as we understand that this is just a relative expression, then it's okay. It's okay to talk like this. So, who are we exactly? Well, we are both empty space and physical existence at the same time. We're just not what we think we are. We're just not what we think we are. We're not just this little cutout in the universe. But at the same time, this is what we're calling ourselves represents something. It's just not what we say it is, or think it is, or express ourselves. And the expression is a part of it, but it's just not us exactly. It's somewhere in the middle. One way to practice the middle way is that we can bring awareness to our breath. Have awareness of physical existence. Not rejecting anything, just being aware. In the in-breath. Letting go with the out-breath. While being aware of the breath. Being aware of the one who is aware of the breath. Ishq Allah Ma'bud Ilallah. The lover and the beloved is one. This is one area where Buddhism and Islam are together. The Quran describes the body as their spouse, and uses the symbolism of the earth as the body and the heavens as consciousness. And Allah is both the heaven and the earth together. So this is, and the Quran and Buddhism both say a very similar thing. There's a middle way. Becoming obsessed with the material body will lead to pain and suffering, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have to completely reject everything. We have to respect the laws of the material world in which we exist in, because it's how we build schools, it's how we build hospitals, and it's how we make healthy food. So like this video, please like, subscribe, share on other social media. There is another video somewhere that you can find on the Four Noble Truths. I am also on Patreon, patreon.com/PublicZen, which I'm trying to raise money so I can now focus my attention on writing my book. I've written 2 parts of the book. And a good day to you all.